Hello, everyone. It's Friday afternoon, and I'm Tracy Cromwell, and I'm here on the live broadcast, Your Personal Journey with Food. And I'm really excited today. I've brought on a very special guest all the way from Cairo, Egypt, and I brought on Sue. And Sue, I wanted to bring her on because Sue is a transformational coach and a business coach, and she helps female leaders. Uh, Including CEOs, hypnotherapists, healers, coaches, be unstoppable in their business and step into creating true love and intimacy in their marriages. And she is a qualified social worker with over 15 years of experience in the field of transformation. And I can speak for myself here that I've gone through a lot of transformation. And, Sue, I just would love for you to speak with us today. Tell us your story because it's so inspirational what you've gone through, and then how you work with women to help them, find their purpose and their inner self and all of those things. So, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Tracy, for having me. Thank you for inviting me. And thank you for giving me the space and the opportunity to share my voice on your platform here today. So the pleasure is all mine. Thanking you so very much. So what was the question? How do I help women? Was that the first question?
Well, I would love for people to hear your story. You have a
Yeah.
very significant story that I think is very important to be told, and what led you to become the person you are today.
Gosh, okay, so my story. I had a very difficult childhood, no fault of anyone. At the age of 4, my younger siblings were randomly paralyzed. Then after, at the age of 9, my brother passed away. The same year, my grandma passed away and my grandfather. My mom went into a complete state of shock. And what my father did was he got mental health intervention. And that was the only option that was available back in the 80s, as you can imagine. And on one hand, it was good because my dad was very open and very vocal about mental health. And what, on the other hand, I saw was the side effects that my mom experienced from the mental health intervention service. And so during my childhood, I actually became my mum's carer. I saw my mum hallucinate in front of me on a regular basis. I saw my mum relapse, and getting mental health services on a regular basis wasn't easy. And then the day before my 16th birthday, my sister passed away. And then on
Sorry.
my birthday, she was actually buried. Tracy, I look back now and I just think, gosh, my childhood was taken away from me. But when I was in that situation, it just felt like it was the norm. It really and truly did. I remember when my sister passed away, my dad hugged me and we cried. And that was, I realized that, I gotta take care of my mum and dad here. And I remember up until recently, Tracy, I've not been able to celebrate my birthday because it's traumatic for my parents. On one hand, they're mourning the death of one daughter, and the other, there's a celebration for another. But it's recently I've embraced that maybe it is time for me to celebrate my birthday. And I think it's only been recently that I've actually been able to grieve the death of my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to my sister's death, so she passed away. And then we went on a religious pilgrimage, and I just remember praying to God. I said, "You got to take care of me. I want to be of service. I want to help others. Just open the way for me." And that was my prayer. And then I ended up applying for university. I ended up doing social work. So I did my degree. And towards the end of my degree, one of the lecturers actually took me into her office and said, Suemyya, I want you to do your master's in social work and I want you to qualify. I can see potential. I'm like, really? Um, I didn't think I had no self-esteem. I was kind of just in the background, just going with the flow. And whatever
Mhm.
opportunities came my way, Tracy, I grabbed them. Okay.
Mhm.
So I said,
Yeah.
I thought to myself, she's saying something here. Maybe I should listen to her. So I was like, fine. I applied for my master's and off I went. So I did my master's. Towards the end of my master's, it was a mental health placement. So I was working with mental health service users, and I actually had a breakdown. And I think it's the first time I'm actually perhaps speaking about this breakdown. And I didn't realize, but I had a breakdown. I was actually having a panic attack.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
my supervisor was there from university, and she advised me to book an appointment to go see my GP. That's the general practitioner in the UK. So I did
Mhm.
that the following day, and within 5 minutes, I was just prescribed the medication.
Yeah.
And I thought, no way,
Yeah.
no way am I going to go through what I saw my mum go through. I'm
Yeah.
not giving power.
Yeah.
And so I decided to go through the holistic route, took a year out of university. By then, all my friends graduated, so I didn't even graduate with my friends.
Mhm.
And and yeah, so I just went down the holistic route, looked into therapy, and that was that. And so in the end, I ended up qualifying as a social worker. And just before I completed my master's, one of my supervisors took me to her office. This was a different supervisor. And she said to me, Cindy Sharkey, I remember her name, still remember her, oh, amazing woman. And she said, Suemyya, what I want you to do after you graduate, I actually want you to apply for a job in child protection team. I want you to really build your experience working in that team. If you can work in child protection, you can work in any social work team. I was like,
Mhm.
really, child protection? She's like, yeah, I really want you to work in child protection. Then after, I want you to go into management, leadership, and then come back to university. I was like, really? So off I went, Tracy. The point here is, Tracy, that yes, my childhood was difficult. You know, I did become my mum's carer, but I had women who came along my way and saw potential that I didn't see. And they
Mhm.
gave me advice and I listened, and I wholeheartedly listened, and I implemented what they had told me. I didn't go back to university in leadership. Sorry, I didn't go back to university in a lecturing position, but I started my own journey here now,
Yeah. Yeah.
helping other women.
I hear your story, and I think of so many, women, and that we'd have things happen to us as kids or at any point in our lives that we work through and have to work through, but then they also shape us and uh, guide us in a direction. I know for me, I don't believe that I would be doing what I'm doing today had I not gone through
Absolutely. Oh God,
experiences
Tracy.
that
You
I've
know,
had in the past. And
absolutely. I mean, when I launched my business, this was just under 12 months ago.
mhm,
And again, the clients that have approached me are clients who've been sexually abused,
mhm,
emotionally abused.
mhm,
And I just think there's a reason why I've done what it's made me who I am today, just the whole journey that I've been through. And working with such complex cases that I work with, you need high level of resilience. You
mhm,
need to be able to work with such complex trauma cases when
mhm,
women have been abused. by they knowing who the perpetrators are, usually family members. And so working with these women and healing their wounds, and then giving them the tools and not be affected by the end of the session, and you leaving that session just with a clear mind so you can take care of your family. I now realize why I went on this journey to do what I do today for these women. And it brings me no joy. It brings me so much joy just seeing women transform in front of my eyes. I see women, these are women, Tracy, I work with, who are very successful women, very successful women in leadership roles. And, to the whole world, they're very successful, very confident, high flying, high achieving. But inside, I see something else. And it's healing that. And then seeing them reach the next level of their success, it's just heartwarming.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and for me, I focus a lot on relationship with food, and but with that, food is connected to so many aspects of our life, and career, spirituality, joy, relationships, all of those things. And what I'll find with some of my clients is that it's not really about the food, there's so many other things involved. And so one reason I wanted to bring you on the show is that you do work with those that have a trauma, that are working with some kind of a trauma that's holding them back. And that I'll find too with relationships with food, there's usually, if it's especially somebody that's got a very hostile relationship with food, there's usually something that's traumatic, most likely happened in their life in the past, and that's where, for me, I look to find experts in the field of trauma, because, and that's why I wanted to bring you on the show, because I believe that I do have people that watch this that have had trauma. And I'm a true believer is if we can heal that and work through that, the relationships everywhere else in our lives just will start to work. Yeah.
What I've seen is that women who come to me when I help them heal their childhood trauma, also mother wound. We were raised in an old paradigm where we believe and trust whatever our mom says, which is true. But the reality of the matter, some mothers were not competent to give us the adequate parenting that we needed. And some, in fact, many women, mothers, have actually caused us trauma. So when you help women heal that, it just makes such a big difference. And we have. I know in my case, I could just sit here and just feel really sorry for myself. Oh, look what happened in my childhood. But no, just, having therapy, having months of therapy and just being able to heal what I went through has given me the strength to do what I do. If I hadn't, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today. And going back to what you said, relationship with food, that's something I've had to work with as well, and something I'm still working on. My relationship with food is just up and down. I go, one minute I'm binge eating, and the next I'm doing silly, keto diet where I'm doing intermittent fasting for 20 hours. The point is I'm so inconsistent. It goes down to my relationship with food.
Oh, you're not alone. To bring that back to what you just said, is I think we can all feel really isolated in whatever our challenges are, be our relationship with food, but I love that you brought that up and we were laughing about it. We felt a little bit, we felt some connection. And then if we look at our lives, want to say this is we can isolate ourselves so much and feeling that we're alone and that there's nobody we can talk to or reach out to, um, and realizing we're not, that there's so many women out there that experience very similar things that maybe we had, and if we can trust in that.
Yes. You know
That.
what it is, Tracy, is, when it comes to these topics, like you said, within our community, by that I mean women in general, we are very isolated. And
Mhm,
speaking about topics that we are speaking about, it's not spoken about, it's all hidden.
mhm, mhm,
You wouldn't have a conversation, or you wouldn't hear women openly have a conversation about their relationship or lack of relationship with food, or
mhm,
even their relationship with their mother, or
mhm,
the trauma that they've experienced.
mhm. Yeah.
I'm finding, like, women are beginning to speak up because they are getting help. And once they've got help and, they've seen their transformation, they are then opening up. And then they can see their friends and family members who've got these patterns, and they're like, I've
Mhm,
been there. I understand what, and that's where I believe women are now beginning to speak up.
mhm. Yep, absolutely. And I want to say this is that um, we can. There's two things I wanted to say. One was finding someone you feel you can speak to, and
Yeah.
having that courage to, number one, find someone you can speak to can be very
Yes.
scary.
Yeah, and before finding someone, Tracy, it's about accepting,
Mm,
acknowledging, and accepting.
there we go.
Acceptance is very hard, especially for successful, high achieving women,
Mhm,
because it's like, no, I can do this by myself. I'm capable. I don't need someone else to help me.
mhm.
And that's what happens.
Yeah, and then not real, and then I think too, we it's a way of upbringing, and I think with women
Yeah.
too, is that we're supposed to be able to do everything.
Yes.
And this can be for men too. They're supposed to be able to handle it all and everything. So we have a societal um, vision that if we need to go ahead and seek out a coach or seek out more training or seek out help for something like, which you are an expert in, that we're not good enough or we failed somehow. And how can we change that
Yes.
mindset,
Yes.
to.
As I was growing up, Tracy, what was really interesting is that as a family, we experienced a lot of stigma related to mental health and
Mhm,
disability.
mhm,
Okay. And what I loved was that my father was very open and very vocal about mental health and disability.
mhm,
Yeah, we experienced a lot of stigma. He was fearless. He really did not care. He really didn't. So much so, he actually saw other carers struggling with children with disabilities. He saw parents struggling to look after their children with disabilities. And so, what I saw him do back in the 80s is knocking on people's doors. He actually found a list of people who had children with disabilities, and he went knocking to encourage these parents to come together and to build some sort of a support network.
mhm,
He got
mhm,
refused multiple times. He
mhm,
got the door slammed multiple times because nobody was willing to open up. There was a lot of shame.
mhm. Yep.
He continued for many, many years. He was like, no, there's something that needs to be done here. In the end, he did manage to build a very strong carers network. And this is something he's hidden. Not a lot of people know about this.
Mhm.
Um, and he was actually recognized for his work by the Queen.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah. And he was actually invited to meet the Prime Minister at the time, Tony Blair,
Huh.
to speak about his vision, to speak about the gaps within the carers community. And so that's what I saw. I saw that drive. I saw that passion. He didn't care about himself. Some
Mhm.
days he'd be working 12 hours a day and come home. He'll only get a few hours sleep, and he'll be up attending meetings to establish this really strong foundation. And at the moment in the UK, a lot of funding has been taken out from the voluntary services. Yet, I know the establishment that my dad had built still somehow has funding because it's been such a well-established organization. So yes, if we come together, we can make so many changes. And I saw change happen in front of my eyes.
Wow, that is an incredible story. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, and then being able to watch that and see it happen, and then you stepping into your belief that you could do great things,
Yeah,
and yeah.
I never had this vision, Tracy, for me to even launch my own business. I did not. This was not a dream. I never dreamt of this. I think lockdown happened, and I had this yearning that I wanted to share my gifts. And
Mhm.
then I was approached, as you know, by a very successful business coach who was taking on
Yeah.
students. And I just was like, okay, maybe this is it. Didn't know what I was going to end up doing. And that was it. And then I just applied his training and his skills and his suggestions. And then I ended up launching what I did. So,
Yeah, so, that's a great segue. So, let's talk about what you do, and how you work with women and professional women, and an example of the right the right client for you.
okay, so I help leaders, female leaders, CEOs, coaches, hypnotherapists, healers, be unstoppable in their business and to also have a deep and intimate relationship. So, an example that I can give you is so, majority of my clients that approach me are feeling suicidal,
Okay.
depressed.
Okay.
To the whole world, they seem very successful, but internally, they just feel stuck.
Hmm.
And so then, going deep down, finding out what's happening, going through their childhood, just going through historical background. I kind of dig deep, find out what's happened, where the trauma is, what the wound is, and then my job is to heal.
Hmm.
Not only heal, but to transform. Also give them the tools that they need, personalized tools, and also to create their future. And then once these women have healed, transformed, they just have a phenomenal results.
Hmm.
I've seen women who've been stuck in their business, who have been so stuck, charging like $500 for a 12-week program. And these are very successful women. And it's like, no, you're offering so much here. And then they go on to offer a 3-day leadership program for under, $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then not only that, offering high ticket program for $30,000.
Hmm.
Um, just today, I did an interview with a client that I worked with about 6 months ago. And she came to me broken, suicidal. And just today, she was telling me of what she's achieved since we've worked together. She's walked away from a toxic relationship. It was toxic.
Hmm.
Filed for divorce. She manifested her ideal person, and she's actually looking to get married in the next few months.
Hmm.
She's a far better mother, and she's also made progress in her career and hopes to launch her own business in the next few years.
Incredible. Incredible. Would you say, is she, I don't know, when I hear you say that, I envision somebody stepping forward as their true self and releasing all this
Exactly. Yes, that's
noise
exactly
and
what she was
baggage
saying.
and shame or whatever it was they were carrying in a horribly heavy backpack is gone. You know?
That's exactly what she was saying, Tracy. She was saying, Suemyya, she's kind of got rid of all the ghosts that were locked in the cupboards. That were exact words. And she's like, now I just don't have energy for conflict. I just, now I use my energy in the right way. And she's tapped into her intuition. She's like,
Mm,
rather than being impulsive, I'm now, really tapped into her intuition, which now she's able to establish boundaries. And
mm,
she's no longer a people pleaser.
right.
And she's got rid of shame, guilt,
Mhm.
all the other negativity. So yeah, it's just phenomenal,
Well,
phenomenal to see these women. It really is. Oh, I can
yeah.
give you so many more examples.
Well, it's
Would you
funny
like
because,
me?
I follow you. You and I are in the similar, we have the similar connection, and it's been really wonderful to see your, those clients that, have made these comments from working with you. And again, what I love about you is that you just have this energy of warmth and compassion. And I feel like that is how you come forth into the world. And and that anyone who wants to work with you is in a very safe space, and I, again, I think too, because I want to bring forward on this broadcast, because as an integrative coach, I know it's not just about the food, and that I really believe that people need to know about you, because um, going into that space, you want to feel cared for, trusted, trusting. You can say whatever you need to say to you, to get the breakthroughs that are needed. And I just love that feeling about you,
Yeah.
so.
It's so important. Yeah, it's absolutely vital what you've just said, Tracy. It's like the type of work that we do. Our
Mhm.
clients need to feel safe.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
need to feel as though they can trust us.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, when I feel there's a bit of resistance from a client who's thinking, a prospective client that's thinking of working with me, I have no hesitation to say to them, look, I don't think you're ready. Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Because we want transformation for them, not just another coaching program when they're not ready.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and so when they are ready, the results that we want them to get, they will get.
Mhm.
And that's what the
Yeah.
most important thing is. It's about being client centered and also providing that environment where they are truly safe to open up.
Yes. And so how would someone reach out to you? What's the best way to do that? I know I don't have in the comments yet, but I can type something up here. But how does someone get a hold of you?
Um,
How does that
yeah,
work?
okay. I currently have a Facebook group. I not got a website as of yet. So if anyone would like to get in contact with me, they can do so via my Facebook group, or my Facebook page. So my personal page consists of my first name. I can write it up here for you.
Okay.
I think that's it. I'm not sure. Okay, what I can do in the comments box later on, I can add my details.
Mhm.
So if anyone would like to contact me, they can reach me on my personal page, which is my first name and my last name, or my Facebook group.
Mhm.
You can just DM me on my Facebook
Yeah.
personal page, and I respond within, let's say, 24 hours.
Yeah. And then I think you have a link to your Facebook group on your personal page, right? Yeah. Yeah. And absolutely. And it's a really wonderful group. I'm part of it, and it's very inspiring.
Thank
And
you.
so definitely, if you're a woman, entrepreneur, woman, just and you want a great environment to be in, definitely hop into her Facebook page, her Facebook group. And let's see. One last thing I was going to say, because it really, everybody is at a different space in their life, and if we as human beings can put the blinders up of comparison to others, is where we think we should be compared to others. And because we may not be ready in one area, to move forward or whatever, it's okay. We need to, and you might be able to say this much better than me, but be okay where we are initially and acknowledge that, and remove judgment. I guess I always like to say, remove judgment, the heavy load of judgment from that.
Yes.
Basically.
Okay, so there's two things here.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, if there's anything that's affecting you in terms of your health,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of your well-being, so much so that you're sabotaging yourself and it's affecting loved ones around you, get help.
I love that.
Get help. Get help. Because the question is, when will you be ready?
I love
it. Okay?
Yeah.
You are the biggest investment. When I had my daughter, I remember she was like maybe 6 months old. I held her. We just have this assumption that when you're a mother, the motherly traits just come very naturally to you. But if you've not seen that and that's not familiar to you, how can you give this love?
Mm-hmm.
So I held her and I said to her, I'm not going to pass down my trauma to you. Forget a fancy house. Forget designer handbags. Forget a fancy car. Forget it. I'm going to invest in me so I can be the best version to look after you.
Yes.
Now, that's what I would say, is that you are the biggest investment. And when it comes to you and your family, there's no other you are the priority. Get help. Be the best version of you so you can break the cycle. So you don't pass on your weeds to your kids. They don't deserve it. They don't.
Right. And just even the energy, and I love that idea of what you said, is you are the best investment you can make. And again, we have the stereo, is this some kind of a statement that was, no, we're not allowed to invest in ourselves. That's selfish. We're supposed to figure it out on our own. And
what you offer, Tracy, it's something that if it comes to your health, if you don't take care of it, the problem's not going to go away. It's just going to get bigger and it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
And that investment in the long run is the best thing you can do.
Well, and what you said too, I was pre-diabetic, yo-yo dieter. I loathed my body. My body was the reason I had all my problems in life, and why it didn't handle anything I dealt it or fed it the way I wanted it to, no matter what that was. I just was really hostile. And finally, when I acknowledged where I was, became a student, and then when I finally started to realize how much better I felt and my brain started to figure that out, I started to think, okay, yeah, investing in myself is so important, and
Tracy, we live in a very materialistic society. So if we can't see something, we have this concept that why invest if you can't see it, if you can't hold it? Yet when you go through health coaching or transformation coaching, internally, what you feel is priceless.
Oh, it's incredible. Yes.
And one thing I just want to say is that never compare yourself to anyone when it comes to your business.
Mm-hmm.
What someone else is doing may seem like it's working, but you don't know what journey they've been through, or been on, or how much work and effort they're putting on behind the scenes, or how much they have invested. And in terms of business, just ask yourself what it is that you truly want. What, and is it, where do you want to spend your time, effort, and energy? It might not be your business, might not be the right time. I know personally right now I've had to slow things down a little bit. And that's business. You go through phases, but when it comes to your emotional well-being and your health, get help.
Priority number one. Yep, absolutely. And again, don't compare yourself to anybody else in everybody's life. And I love what you said, even in business, but in your health journey, everyone's come from a specific different background. Different things have happened. And so honoring you, honoring yourself, realizing you're worthy right now, taking care of yourself and whatever that looks like. Yeah, absolutely.
And just trusting yourself, just asking yourself, what is it do I need right now?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I want to put my energy?
Mm-hmm.
Your energy right now might not be your business, might be your kids, might be your personal life, might be something else.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean you don't give up on your dream. Still pursue your dreams, though.
Right. Okay. All right, Suemyya. Oh, it's already it's 12:07 here. What time is it there?
It's 9:07.
9:07.
I'm off to bed.
I need to let you go to bed.
My kids are already in bed. I'm off to bed after this.
Well, I appreciate you staying up late to talk to me and record this live and give your valuable insights and your story. I'm so appreciative.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the incredible work that you do. Thank you for offering what you offer to us women and just being open and sharing your story. Thank you. Thank
you. Okay. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to close off the broadcast, but stay there. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next Tuesday on Your Personal Journey with Food, Tough Love Tuesday. I'll be coming back at you. And if you're listening on the podcast, thanks for being here with us today. All right. Take care, everybody.